Great good morning, everyone. It is a beautiful, but it's going to be a little sweltering, let's face the facts, Wednesday, July 16th, 2025. My Picardo Jewelers watch tells me it's 9:07 on the nose. Broadcasting today from the United States of America. I could promise because in Pittsburgh, they were actually trying to make the country better yesterday at Dave McCormick's conference. It's also the place where the brave, like the veterans we honor today, have made us and kept us free. Courtesy of our man John Basiliga and his great companies, we will honor today veterans we lost this year, like Martin Seraphin, Hanover Township, Jim Jones, Scranton, Donald Pop-Pop Popper, Springbrook Township, Gerald Swarin, born Scranton, late of Exeter, Michael Zolinsky, South Scranton, and Frederick Chappelle, born Philadelphia. He lived right here in Chalfont. The United States of America, the country founded with the certain knowledge and understanding by our amazing founding fathers that the government is not, shall not be, cannot be, will not be our parent, our guide, our direction, our salvation. Not any of these things, but is nothing more than a necessary evil we require to organize and protect society. The United States of America, the country where, for the first time in human history, freedom was declared to be an unalienable right granted to each individual by God. Freedom couldn't be parceled out to groups. It couldn't be controlled by government or government officials. Indeed, our great American Constitution ensures and codifies freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of association, economic freedom, and freedom of the press. We tell the truth here. You could be the judge of the rest of them. Now, armed with these freedoms, and only because they had them, a ragtag bunch of immigrants, rejects, and their progeny created the richest, most powerful, most culturally diverse and accepting nation ever to grace our planet Earth. America, the only place specifically invented and designed so that every American can live their life in the manner they choose, unlimited by their background, upbringing, race, color, or creed, unhindered by the government or those who would use government to control others for their own comfort, benefit, or power. This Bob Cordaro show, well, it'll always be convincingly conservative, lovingly logical, proudly and passionately patriotic, and reliably right. And so, we gavel to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense, because you need a sanctuary of sanity. In a world where things that are so obvious, they're telling you the opposite is true, yeah, well, you need the sanctuary of sanity, and we'll provide it for the balance of this morning. So, the United States Senate, this is important. The Senate is set to vote on a clawback package. The House had passed a package that took back about $9.4 billion. Now, chicken feed in the big scheme of things, but it's what they need to do dozens of times over, once a month. And we will see if the Senate has the cojones to get it done. We'll see. We'll see. It's something that needs to be on the radar. By the way, incredible success for our Senator Dave McCormick's Energy and Innovation Summit in Pittsburgh. Just incredible success. Announced $92 billion in investment in Pennsylvania. Yeah. So, yeah, it really is It was a huge conference. The investment people who were there, it was the A-list. Google committing billions to Pennsylvania. This is what McCormick's done in 6 months. Remarkable. He got President Trump to come. It was really quite an amazing event. So last night, yesterday afternoon, bunch of high school buddies, we got together up at Clark's. It was so great. It really was. They came from as far away as Florida. They came from Philly. They came from a couple from Philly, Harrisburg, and everybody was there. California is the main guy, my buddy Dave Canavan, and everybody came. We just had a great time last night, and didn't really overdo it. So that's a good thing. Yeah. Somebody says, Bob LTS, good luck getting home today. Vance on a huge concert at Montage. Oh, boy. I take traffic if it's for a reason. I don't like it when they're doing construction in the middle of the day. And then I get like, what are we doing here? But traffic for something, for the vice president, or even in the case of Biden, the president visiting, that's worth a concert. I mean, three really headline groups up at Montage. I'll suffer through it. No problem. So, somebody said, Bob, I really wish Trump brought a quarterback to Pittsburgh. If you had asked him, he'd probably try to do it. He would absolutely love it. But again, yeah, the McCormick thing, really good. Really good. I was so impressed. Now, the Major League, I forgot, because I was with my buddies at Clark's. Joe Mack and Gino and Dave, all our gang, George Sweda, George Caswell, Charlie Mooney, all those guys, Jack Soleo. We were enjoying, and I forgot about the All-Star game. That was last night, right? Now, the only thing the baseball All-Star game, but I've got to tell you, in my younger days, I couldn't wait for the All-Star game. I couldn't wait. The Major League Baseball All-Star game was one of the highlights of my summer. Last night, I forgot to even watch it. But what it did, being Atlanta as it was, is it proved the left-wing Democrat Party, Stacey Abrams, Joe Biden lie. Another monster lie. They moved the All-Star game out of Atlanta because they've passed a very reasonable voting law in Georgia. Now, think of how insane these people are. Please remember, especially you Democrats listening, how they lie to you and treat you like you're an idiot. Remember Biden losing it, obviously. He called it, instead of Jim Crow, he called it Jim Eagle. Like this was, democracy was going down because Georgia asked for ID. And they limited drop boxes, which are just, they might as well call them fraud boxes. So here it is. Years later, all their lies are exposed. Georgia's voting process has increased the amount of people voting. Please stop listening to their lies, because it's all they have. Everything the Democrat Party is today, it's lies. Literal lies. Oh, remember Josh Shapiro? You'll never have an abortion again. What has changed? Please tell me. Please tell me. So it's this idiocy. And I've got to tell you, if I was a Democrat voter, I'd be saying, man, I've had enough. I don't even care if I don't like Trump. I've had enough. How many times could they lie to me? The planet is going to just, it's going to blow up. The Green New Scam. The border is secure. I mean, you could name it. It's insanity after insanity. Oh, we've got to convert to green energy. Oh, and the main way we're going to do the green new scam is with battery-powered cars that actually pollute the environment more from manufacturing point to driving. Like everything they told you, oh, you got to get the COVID shot or you're going to die. Everything they told you was a lie. Everything. Well, when do you stop? I mean, here's the typical goofy reaction. Don't tell me Trump doesn't lie. What does that have to do with anything? Please tell me a lie that he has told which has had an impact on your life. I'm waiting. Yeah. It's ridiculous. He exaggerates constantly. That's fine. That's what he does. He doesn't lie. Please tell me a lie. And so, regardless, this is how you turn the argument. You don't care if you're being lied to and treated like a fool. You don't care. Thank you, sir. May I have another? Is that what you're saying? Quite amazing. You're scaring me, just so you know. Okay. So I'm not so scared. Let's go and hear from our great sponsors. We got a little history, a little music, and then we'll be back with you at 570-883-0098. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. That's the Coasters. Merce said on this date, 1959, they recorded their hit Poison Ivy at Atlantic Recording Studios, New York City. And of course, before that, it's amazing that these things have happened within a couple of generations. An atomic bomb in the desert, Alamogordo, New Mexico. I can't. Well, you can imagine because we've seen it on TV and film and video of it a lot. But watching that, and they were testing radiation levels, all that kind of thing, the blast zone, fascinating, amazing, blowing up atomic bombs, and here you are watching it. Oof, different generation, right? Different generation. And these were above ground tests. You know, crazy. So we're looking at, by the way, somebody texts in, you mean not like, you may not like it. I think they're trying to say, you may not like it, but green energy is the future, bud. China is already way in front of us on it. It's to our detriment that we are fighting it. You're wrong on every point. You're wrong on every single point you just made. Where do you get your... I'm just astonished. Where do these people get their information from? China's way ahead on green energy. They're building coal plants by the bucketful every week. It's just... That's what I'm saying. These are the ridiculous conversations you have with Democrat defenders. And they'll just keep going with it. And the reason green energy is a scam is because you're exactly correct. It transfers our wealth to China. If you want to have battery-powered cars, well, so many of the components and ingredients in making those vehicles is Chinese. Solar panels, Chinese. We can't make them economically, period. And if we could, they'd dump it. Quite amazing. The green energy future is a scam. And it's going to make certain people, the Al Gores of the world, very wealthy. And it's going to screw you. And you don't want to get it. You don't understand it. See, there's the thing that just befuddles me. They don't get it. They're the target. Now, there are a certain amount of people, there's not a small percentage of the population, maybe it's even 20%, who, if gas prices go up, energy prices, your utility costs go up, like Joe Biden made them go up with left-wing lunatic Green New Deal policies in his first term, and you could absorb it. No big deal. Inflation, going out to dinner, all that. But the majority of people can't absorb this insanity. Based on unproven and non-consensus, by the way, non-consensus science. Like carbon dioxide. Remember, that's what they're talking about primarily. Greenhouse gases. Carbon dioxide is the enemy. Well, it's 0.04% of the atmosphere. Hasn't grown, hasn't shrunk. Actually, it has shrunk. It was a higher percentage of the atmosphere when the dinosaurs were roaming about. You just look at it, and all their facts are wrong. And we're, by the way, even if you are not buying the battery-powered car, buying the solar panels, even if you're not, you're paying for them because it's got to come out of the taxpayer's pocket. I, but they just keep going. Rodney says, morning, Bob, LTS. My grade school was our local bomb shelter. It's falling down now from a leaking roof, says Rodney. St. Anthony's School in Dunmore had a bomb shelter, like a sub-basement that you would go on. You know, remember those? Almost every building of consequence. Somebody texts in, Bob LTS saw a clip yesterday of Al Gore and how since 2007 he keeps saying that 10 to 20 years the world's going to end. It never comes true, but keep sending him money, says Slick. Yep. Somebody asked the right question. I thought carbon dioxide made trees greener. Yeah. Yes. It's essential. It's what trees breathe. And they exhale oxygen, which is what we breathe. And we exhale carbon dioxide. Isn't that pretty neat? But see, they want to ignore that fact. Do you hear them talking about planting more trees? No, because planting more trees wouldn't allow them to control you. Please get the game here. It wouldn't allow them to control you. They couldn't make money off of it. And then you just take the abject phoniness of it all. They're going to have a climate conference in Brazil. What did they do? They clear-cut the Amazon forest for miles so that these the people who are sucking the teat of Green New Scam can all drive to the conference after they get off their jets. You literally cannot make up how phony they are. Somebody says, you sound like my neighbor who thinks the earth is flat. Please tell me what I'm saying that's wrong. I beg you, tell me. Tell me what I'm saying that is incorrect. Why? And again, it's why don't you want to face facts and then say, yeah, well, I like it better anyway? I don't even know what your argument would be for battery-powered cars. By the way, I have no problem with them being in the mix. The one thing they don't even count with the battery-powered cars, they are so heavy. This is amazing now, that the tires and the wear from the tires is a significant pollutant. Net battery-powered cars are not better. And where do you think they're getting the electricity from? As the one woman from GM said, oh, I think in the building. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And the shot, it's all of the same piece. It's all of the same piece. It's people who have controlled the ideology who are making money off of you. And it's your ultimate destruction. Unless you're in on the game. And I don't think any of you are. You're just being useful idiots. What did we say to you? I don't know. I don't know what to say to you. Seriously. You're falling for this? You're letting them take you down and your standard of living down? For you, your family, your kids, your grandkids, your nieces? Nah, I don't get it. I really don't get it. Well, let's hear our sponsors. I want to hear from them. We'll come back. We'll do a Veterans Tribute for the hour, do the weather, and then more. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. Our Veterans Tribute this hour and every hour, this day and every day, brought to you by our man John Basiliga and his great companies. One of those is Serenity Care. Serenity Care, 4 locations, Mid-Valley, Old Forge, Wyoming, Kingston. Personal care services, dementia care services for our seniors. Dementia units located in Mid-Valley and Kingston. All of these facilities, all 4, have been completely renovated inside and out, accepting new residents. For yourself, for a family member, John has a passion for providing the highest quality senior care. And you check out Serenity Care or any of their facilities, and you'll say, Gerald Swarren. He was just 72 when he died June 15th. He was from Exeter. Born in Scranton, a graduate of Pittston Area High School. Member of St. Monica's Parish, West Wyoming. Right after high school, Gerald enlisted in the United States Coast Guard. He then went on to work at Cascade Tissue as a parts supervisor. Survived by his wife, the former Barbara Yaniga. They were married for 53 years. He's survived by children, grandchildren, and a great-grandchild, as well as many other family members. Gerald Swarren. Michael Zielinski passed away June 12th at home. He had just celebrated his 88th birthday. He and his wife Sharon had celebrated their 62nd wedding anniversary June 8th. He passed on June 12th. He was the youngest of 4 children, graduate of South Scranton Catholic High School, and a member of the U.S. Navy. His family says he was hardworking, loyal, and deeply devoted. He owned and operated a gas station and towing business, later a successful excavation company, where he took on the unique and humbling task of digging graves. He had a lifelong love for Corvettes, and he is survived by 4 children, grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren. Michael Zielinski, our great veterans this hour, brought to you by John Basiliga and Serenity Care. Storm Tracker 16 forecast meteorologist Joe Snedeker. Today, partly sunny with a chance of late-day showers and thunderstorms, 88 degrees. Tonight, partly cloudy, chance of showers and thunderstorms, 72. Thursday, partly sunny and humid, chance of scattered thunderstorms, 88. Friday, sunny and cooler and less humid, high near 80. Okay, so it's going to moderate a little bit after the next couple of days, but I happen to like the heat. I truly do. All right, let's go to the blower, and we got our man Wayne from Einen on the phone. Hi, Wayne.
How you doing, Bob? How are you, buddy?
Great to hear from you.
Sounds like you're having a good day.
Always.
You don't need to steal. So far, you don't need the steel pot on. So okay, you're all right. Okay, here's my comment, Bobby. When I heard the prelude there with the countdown to the atomic bomb blast, okay, I have a little history from that from my father who died, okay, because of radiation poisoning. Okay, he was there when that happened. Okay, when they tested for the atomic bomb.
They were actually testing the radiation levels on soldiers. Yeah.
Yes, I was 9 months old when he died. Okay, but I never knew anything about that. Okay, until I was probably about 18. Okay, because my mother could never say anything about it. Okay, because she received money from the federal government for me. Okay, every month. Okay, so she was never allowed to say anything until I was like 18, 16 or 18 about it. Yeah, but that's what he died from, was radiation poisoning, because he was there. He got wounded in Germany. They sent him back home to the States. Gave him this offer to go there. Okay, he had no idea what was going on anyway.
Yeah.
But Yeah, but they got more money for going there. That's what I found out from my mother, but I had to wait till I was about 16 or 17 to learn all this.
Wow.
You know, that's because I got papers for it that said that's what he died from, was radiation poisoning. You know, I didn't find these papers until after my mom died, and I was cleaning out this one chest that she had down in the basement. I never found any of that out. She never told me any of it because they apparently had told her that you can't say anything. You know.
And people listened to their government back then, you know. So.
Yes, they did. So yeah, so that's a true story there. But
oh, that's so sad to hear. I mean, part of it was ignorance, but there were people, and this is what you always got to worry about with the government. You're giving ultimate power to people, and they will abuse it. Period.
Yep. Yeah, but it was a necessity that we did that, Bobby.
I don't think it was a necessity that we had to have our soldiers within range.
No.
Yeah,
no, I don't. I don't mean that. I mean, we developed the atomic bomb.
Oh, the testing, all of it, of course.
Yeah. No, I agree. There's no reason why you should put people out there for that to happen. I agree with you there. Yeah. But that's a true story. That's what happened with my father.
Well,
died
Wayne,
of radiation poisoning.
Sorry to hear that, but good to have you back on the air, Wayne. We love it.
Thank you, buddy.
All right,
you
my
have
friend.
a good day.
We'll talk to you soon.
Good stuff. You're doing a wonderful job for our vets, buddy.
Thank you. It's the reason to do the show. Thank you, my man.
Take care, buddy.
And there's a multi-generation veterans as well. Well, who's on the phone now?
Hello. Yes, Bob.
Hey, Luciano, you got to wait for your theme song.
Forgive me for my lack of patience.
You're Ice Baby.
That's good. You got it going on.
All right, man. What do you got?
Yes, I want to ask you as a trained lawyer 2 questions, please. I had a felony committed against me. And I want to ask you this. Just because she's a lady, and just because this happened in California, by the way, just because she's a lady and she happened to had 2 children, do you think she should have been deported because she committed a felony such as I have 2 crimes and other people that have? I hear that they pressured Tom Holden and saying you're only going to deport vicious, violent, hostile illegals. Like, what about blue collar crime like identity theft or driving without a license or hitting you while you're without a license, and then when you go, you get stopped, you have no ID, you have no license, and that is a felony.
Well, we learned yesterday from one of our listeners. We learned yesterday from one of our listeners. That's called undocumented driving.
Yes, you as a trained lawyer, I want your opinion, please. Do you think that person or persons should be deported because that's who Tom Holden and President Trump is
I think
deported.
all illegal,
and I agree with that.
All illegal aliens should be deported. I think that the policy that they've put in place, which I think is eminently fair, is look, we'll give you $1,000 if you self-deport. And then you could come back in through the legal method. But if you don't leave and we catch you, then you can't become an American citizen. I like it. But they're giving them $1,000. Go back to your home country, deport yourself. We'll get you there. And we won't have to pay for services and all that kind of thing. You couldn't be more fair than the Trump administration is being with these people.
What rings a bell to me, Bob, my last question is, I see where they're arresting undocumented migrants in Omaha, Nebraska, and Denver, Colorado, and many more that are working with fake Social Security card and fake IDs and working with fake driver's license. That is a felony. Those things were done against me and against other American citizens. Don't you think just because that's deportable, just because your first preference is vicious criminals, don't you think that's painful for American citizens to go like myself and others?
It's of no benefit to American citizens to have illegal aliens here. To have robust immigration, legal immigration processes, that's another. We have to have that. I truly believe it. But the rest of it, no. Illegals are illegal. They should be gone. You got to prioritize because there's about 40 million here. So you've got to prioritize who you take out, and that would be those who either had criminal records before they illegally entered the country or those who commit crimes after they've entered the country. They've got to go first.
And Bob, just because a woman or a man has children, shouldn't they also be deported?
Well, we put them in jail. We put people in jail. We separate people from their family all the time.
You know about that, yes. And other Americans, yes, I agree with that, Bob. Thank you for your wisdom. Thank you, Bob.
Oh, well, thank you always. Pleasure.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Luciano, Luzerne County. It's time for us to take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We'll return. July 16th, 1966, Eric Clapton, Ginger Baker, Jack Bruce formed the supergroup Cream. Murph picked Sunshine of Your Love. And before that, the late, great Barry Goldwater at his acceptance speech in 1964. Oh, you got to love Goldwater. He was the original conservative in many ways, in terms of national politics. And he stuck to his guns. It was maybe the Rand Paul of his day. And I just always loved him. Always loved him. And when something was wrong on the Republican side of the aisle, he called that out too, which is pretty important. Somebody texts in, we don't have to agree. That's the beauty of America. We can have different opinions. Hopefully we can agree on that. Of course. That's obvious. Here's what's less obvious to Democrat voters. The end result of their support. The left-wing lunacy of the Democrat Party statewide and nationally. It's absolute lunacy. And see, what has to happen and what you guys do is you change the facts or ignore the facts in order to reach the opinion you already wanted to have. That Democrats are great, Trump's awful, Republicans are awful, all that. So you distort the facts, you change them, you ignore them, you deny fact, truth, and reality, in short. It doesn't matter if it's the transsexual issues, or men in girls' sports, any of it. You guys just ignore the truth, the fact. Crime, the open border, the vaccine mandates, which were ridiculous. Our entire reaction, actually, after the first couple of months, it was obvious to so many normal people that the government was going loony. And we could go issue after issue after issue. Somebody said, same person. I don't trust Democrats any more than I do Republicans. Well, but I don't care about the parties. I really don't care about the political parties. I know who controls the Democrat Party right now. They're lunatics. Some of them are downright evil. It's never, to me, about party politics. I could care less about the Republican Party. Or should I say I couldn't care less, whichever one's appropriate. So, again, you're missing the point, or you don't want to see the point. The repository of most insanity, unfortunately, is the Democrat Party and their leadership. They just tell you things that are not true. Their entire ideology is based on lies. So if you're pursuing or supporting the Democrat Party and its ideology, then you're wrong. I don't know what else to say, and you can't have your own facts. You just can't have them. You can't make them up. You can't deny truth. You can't deny reality. Like, do these government programs work? No. They all fail. Does growth in government lead to less freedom? Yes. Does the left-wing ideology, because of its internal failures, like it's destined to fail in every case? Does it then require a police state? Yes. It's happened everywhere it's been applied. Because now you've got to enforce lunacy that people understand doesn't make any sense, doesn't work for them in their lives, and then you've got to start controlling thought. It's inevitable where you end up with more and more government. And yet, there are so many people, particularly Democrat voters, who look to the government for nearly every societal problem. And they couldn't be more wrong. And history couldn't be more against what they're trying to say. Yeah. All right. Bob Cordaro, WILK. I look at my Picardo Jewelers watch. And remember, at Picardo's, it's your watch store. And it's an amazing jewelry store, too, by the way. Downtown Scranton, Jefferson Avenue, and Spruce Street. They have brands such as Breitling, Oris, Longines, Michelle, Shinola, Luminox, Swiss Army. Well, my Picardo Jewelers watch store time, it's 10:01 and 28 seconds. We'll be back after the news. Great good morning, everyone. My Picardo Jewelers watch tells me it's 10:08 here in the great Northeast this beautiful Wednesday, July 16, 2025. 83 degrees here at the studio. This is the Bob Cordaro Show, and I am he. And it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and with the help of our man John Basselig and his great company, Serenity Care, to honor the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like veterans we've lost this year, but celebrate this day thanks to John. Michael Zielinski, Scranton. Gerald Swarren, Exeter. Martin Seraphin, Hanover Township. Donald Popper, Springbrook Township. State Policeman Evan Jim Jones, Scranton. And Frederick Chappelle, Havertown. So, with history, our great founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle, gaveling back to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense. So, the lunatic Democrat nominee for mayor in New York City he was in D.C., sponsored by the equally vapid AOC, to meet with various Democrats. I guess Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries are going to meet with him on Friday in New York. Like, please tell me what you need to know. Unless you yourself are so insane about being a Democrat, or are just yourself a lunatic leftist, which I believe they all are, by the way. Where's the bridge? Where's the bridge with Mamdani? His father he's mentally ill. His father's mentally ill. A professor at Columbia who thinks we should have we should have compassion for suicide bombers. They're really not bad people. I mean, these people are insane. Please get it. Don't let a party label confuse you. The Democrat Party is not even close to what it was. It's a completely different animal, and I mean animal. It's unrecognizable. From FDR, JFK, Harry Truman. Unrecognizable. It's the party of Bill de Blasio and Chuck Schumer and, it's a rogues gallery of, I'm telling you, it's the bar at Star Wars. It truly is. All right, well, let's go to our Joan from West Pittston. She's been patient. How are you, Joan?
Hi, Bob. How are you?
Great.
I've been waiting to talk to you. Sometimes I get so busy working I don't have a chance to get on the radio. But I just want to let you know, I was listening to Luciano when I was coming home, and he was talking about the people that are here illegally, and they are here illegally. But it's scary because these people that are illegal, they say, there's mothers and children. And yeah, there are, but it's our big corporations that are paying for them to be here. They're actually buying our protesters and everything, because I witnessed it myself. People that are being hired, they're being hired at lower rates, so
yes.
they could. I've had appliances delivered to my house by a certain store. I couldn't understand the man and what he was saying. He gave me he was giving me everything wrong, but I had to call the store. And I said, these people are being hired at lower rate, so these people are backing them up. I went in, the one thing that really upset me was I went into Walmart in Wilkes-Barre, and I asked a young lady for help to show me where something was. She said, I'm sorry, she didn't speak English. I said, okay, so figure one. I went to two other people, and they said the exact same thing to me, to where I got a manager, and she just shrugged her shoulders. I said, is this America? This is what we're supplying. These people are coming illegally. We're giving them free housing. We're giving them Medicare. We're giving them food. And then how do you expect them not to fight to stay here because the corporations are actually helping them back up and paying for these protesters to come against us?
You're
it's
right.
like our enemy is within, Bob.
Yes.
It's within.
Yes.
And that's sad. And the Democrat Party is 100% behind it. They're the ones that are doing it. Okay?
And Joan, it's depressing the wages of Americans. It's taking jobs from Americans. And they say, well, who's going to do those jobs? Well, let's put a real salary on it. I mean, let's put a real salary there, and let's see who takes those jobs. It's not the job of the illegal immigrants to take the. By the way, let's have 3 million legal immigrants come in every year. Processed, taught about America. They've got to take a test on America. They've got to understand our founding, and they have to become Americans. What's wrong with that? But that's the proof that
my grandfather came here from Naples, Italy. He came here. He worked for this town, West Pittston, on for cleanup and everything. He had to go through the processing first and learn how to speak English before he could invite his wife and 2 children here. Okay, it was a process, but this is the way it was done. It was clean cut, and this is the way America was built. Now we're taking America and shoving it under the house. They don't care. I could tell you something right now, that because I've seen just what's happened in our town and the takeover of it. I said, this is going to be the grace of God who gets us above all this, because it is really scary. It really is. Well, and I just pray that people, especially people that own these businesses, okay? I'm a waitress. I've been a waitress for 52 years. And in the year 2000, when Howard Johnson's closed, because I was working for them for 20 years, I was making $2.34 an hour. 25 years have passed. Bob, I make $2.83, okay? Now, they turn around and say, okay, they're going to give you tips. That's what you're going to get. Well, first of all, people don't have the money to give out for tips anymore, But it's just the idea. They won't give us a raise, okay? They won't even look at us because, quote, unquote, one of the bosses says waitresses are a dime a dozen. This is the way you look at people.
Good waitresses aren't. I can assure you of that.
That's what he said to me. I said, well, good for you. But what I said, I'm not just trying to back up waitresses, but I am in a way, because now they're hiring these girls that could barely speak English really good, okay? And they're giving them more an hour, because they're saying that they're doing other jobs besides waitressing. So just maybe a couple little things, then they're getting minimum wage. But I said, hey, listen, it's like they've taken the American and listen, I know you're behind the vets 100%, and I thank God for you, because my father fought in the Philippine Islands, and he died at a very early age because of war problems. He was only 59, but he always said to me, he'd take me to the store, and he said, you always buy what says made in America, not made in China. And then he came home. I was only 7 years old when he told me home, and he said to me, I have to tell you this. He said, we have to buy American, even if it's more expensive, because he said someday this nation here, I'm talking about China, is going to own us.
Buy local, buy American. I'm with you on that, Joan. Thank you. Thank you, my
nice
dear.
Talking to you, Bob,
great pleasure.
Pray for our country.
I do. Thank you, Joan.
All right, honey. Thank you.
All right, hon. Hold it down in West Pittston for us. We'll take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We'll hear from our great sponsors, little history, little music. And then, you guys may remember, Northeast Pennsylvania, bringing a Civil War sword home. Charlie Spano will be with us after this. Murph tells us this date, 1966, Tommy James and the Shondells. They moved up to number one with their hit Hanky Panky. And before that, 1969, this date, Apollo 11 blasting off. First manned mission to the surface of the moon. Incredible. Incredible. It's when you believed America could do anything. And unfortunately, at the same time, you had a disgrace like Lyndon Johnson as president who was ruining the country. Simultaneous to this greatness. Amazing. Well, Charlie Spano's on the line. And Charlie, you had a Civil War project. We've talked about it before. Re-inform the listeners what this is all about and let us know what's the latest development is.
Well, thank you, Bob. Thank you for taking my call. The Grant Army of the Republic Museum Memorial Association and the Sons of the Union Veterans, post number 8, is very pleased to announce that after a several-month-long fundraiser, we have acquired and returned to Scranton the sword from the Civil War belonging to a North Scranton native, Lieutenant Ezra Griffin. We had the sword years ago. In the moves that the museum made, it was separated from him. We reacquired it from a person in Arizona, and it will be unveiled in a ceremony on Sunday, July 20th at 2 p.m. in the mall on the second floor near Crunch, which is where the museum is located. And it is open to the public and at no charge. Ezra Griffin was born in what was Providence, and he joined the Union Army and fought through several major battles, including Gettysburg. He was wounded in the siege of Petersburg and died from his wounds in Annapolis shortly thereafter. Now, we have had the sword. We have a nice display case being constructed for it. We will have some musicians playing songs from the period and a few little remarks made by some folks. And Nick Petula, a local author, literally wrote the book on Ezra Griffin. He compiled his diaries and his letters, and there's a book included in including all those things. And Nick will be the main speaker, and we would love to have people come down and see it, and we appreciate all the donors from the Visitors and Convention Bureau to Attorney Don Fredrickson and the various chapters of Unico, among many others, who donated to get this sword back.
And John Basiliga has given you that, has given the GAR Museum, has given them that site within the marketplace at Steamtown.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
John has been a great friend of the museum, and I've asked him to attend for recognition, and we hope that we can get some folks. I invited Glynis Johns from the Black Scranton Project to attend also, and we'll have some light refreshments, period, lemonade and sugar cookies, and it's all free.
Give us the time and date again.
Sure. It will be this Sunday, July 20th, starting at 2 p.m. on the second floor of the Steamtown Marketplace near Crunch, which is where the museum is located.
Good
and
stuff.
We invite anyone and everybody to come down and see it.
Jane, Charlie, if you get a chance, call later in the week just to remind people. 2 o'clock Sunday, Marketplace at Steamtown near Crunch, the GAR Museum. Good stuff. The Ezra Griffin sword is back. I love
Indeed.
it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Charlie. Always a pleasure. We'll talk again.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Let's go to Bill from Pittston. Hi, Bill. How are you? That's right. He's got his theme song now. What do you got, my man, Bill?
Well, I called AOC's office in New York, and I talked to one of her aides, and I said, it's pretty sad that I have to make this call, but I feel I have to because I don't like what AOC is doing. I said, I can't believe a woman with so much potential is wasting it all on a communist running for mayor. I said it's not only anti-Semitic, it's also un-American, and I can't believe that you're sacrificing your constituents that live in a poverty and crime to pursue her own personal, ambition. And the young lady was very polite, and I just said, it's really disgusting. I really do question her loyalty to the country when she's doing things like this. Sorry to say it, but it's
she's
fact.
a communist. See,
Oh, yeah.
this phony label of Democrats socialist, what does that mean? All the Democrats are socialists this day and age. At least elected officials and party officials. So, all right, what does that even mean? That means you've given it a better label than communist. That's all.
Yep. Yes, I must say the girl was very polite, and I just laid it out to her, and that's exactly how I feel. And I said, we'll see in the next election, see the fruits of her labor, see what happens. I'm hoping she gets voted out of office.
Her constituents, and this is exactly what I'm telling Democrat voters around here. You are to be used. You are to be fooled. And that's what her constituents, 650,000 or so of them, are being forced into with her. Oh, well, she's famous. Oh, well, she's good looking. Oh, well, she seems so nice. She's an incredibly ineffective, other than for her own ambition, she's incredibly ineffective as a congressperson. And they get burned by it. And her area, the area she represents, parts of it are unlivable because of her.
Exactly, and that's my main point, that she has totally neglected what she was elected to do, and she's causing misery for her constituents.
But let's go deeper, and now let's elect a communist as mayor of New York. Oh, my God. And she's so enthusiastic over the guy. It's just really sad. Very sad.
The other thing is I'm going to see JD in a little bit, go down and see him in West Pittston. I'm wearing my McCormick Senate shirt.
Well, you'll have to report on that event tomorrow. You'll have to report on that event tomorrow, Bill.
Okay.
All right, my man. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, my Picardo Jewelers watch tells me it's 10:29 and 32 seconds, which means we'll take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We'll be back with our Veterans Tribute after these great sponsor messages. Our veterans this hour and every hour, this day and every day, brought to you by our man John Basiliga. Basiliga Hospitality, Eastern Roofing Systems, J. Bass Realty. And today's featured business, Serenity Care. Senior living that is unequaled. 4 locations, Mid-Valley, Old Forge, Wyoming, Kingston. Dementia care units located in Mid-Valley and Kingston. All 4 of those locations have been completely renovated inside and out, accepting new residents. For yourself, for a family member, it is the best option. Serenity Care. Martin Seraphin. We lost him May 23rd at age 82. He was from Hanover Township, formerly of the Wanami section of Newport Township. He passed away at home. Graduated from Newport Township High School in 1960. He furthered his education, graduating from Wilkes-Barre Business College, and later earned an associate's degree from Luzerne County Community College. Martin Seraphin served us with the U.S. Air Force for 4 years during the Vietnam War. He was a jet engine mechanic with the 72nd Field Maintenance Squadron. He was honorably discharged in 1968, attaining the rank of sergeant. He worked at various endeavors throughout his life. He just did it all, surviving cousins and friends. Martin Seraphin. Donald Pop-Pop Popper. He was 93. We lost him June 12th. He was from Springbrook Township. He was the husband of Elizabeth Matfield Popper, and the couple celebrated 65 years of marriage before his passing. Born in Patterson, New Jersey, he graduated from Hawthorne High School and began his 42-year career working on the railroad. In 1952, he enlisted in the U.S. Air Force, proudly serving us for 4 years during the Korean War. Upon discharge, he returned to the railroad, working for the Erie-Lackawanna, and retiring from Conrail. He loved tending to his garden and woodworking. He loved model trains as well. In addition to his wife, Elizabeth, Donald is survived by a slew of children, their spouses, grandchildren, 5 great-grandchildren, and many other families. Predeceased by a daughter, Donna Marie Farrell, and infant sons, Donald and Jeffrey. Donald Pop-Pop Popper, our great veterans this hour, brought to you by John Basiliga and Serenity Care. Oh, I guess that means weather, huh? It just seems so important to me, unimportant to me after I do the veterans. It really does. But here it is. Storm Tracker 16 forecast from our man Joe Snedeker. Partly sunny with a chance of late day showers and thunderstorms, 88. Tonight, partly cloudy, chance of showers and thunderstorms, 72. Thursday, partly sunny and humid, chance of scattered thunderstorms, 88. Friday, sunny, cooler, less humid, high near 80. I mean, that's a good summer forecast. You can't complain about that. Bob Cordaro back with you on the program. So, a guy dropped off, my man Tom Kay from Sweet Valley. He dropped off a letter, and I said, I'm going to read this. Lisa, who is our very vicious, we have a vicious receptionist here. Now, she does more. She's not a receptionist. That's where she's physically located. But she's supremely unsuited to being a receptionist because she's a mean person. Well, anyway, Tom made it through her somehow. And he writes this letter, and let me read it. He says, this in reference to Allie's Law. It's about a girl with a disability who was not allowed to use the bathroom in a store. She ended up soiling herself. There are 20 states in the United States that passed this law. Pennsylvania is not one of them. I myself, who live in Pennsylvania, had similar problems being disabled. The store manager wouldn't give me the key to the bathroom. This problem happens a lot for disability people and veterans with disabilities. And how about for us that are just plain getting older? This Alley's law should be passed in Pennsylvania. He apologized for handwriting. He's a disabled vet. Well, thank you for your service, my man. And he said, thanks for reading this. Well, it's my pleasure, and thank you for making the effort to come here. He also says, seems like our senators don't know about this law either. Well, Tom, let me pass it up the chain. Let's see what happens. We'll get it to Lisa Baker. Let's see if anything can happen on this. But thank you for dropping it off. Thank you for the effort. We're more than pleased. So there's traffic issues probable today with Vance in town and around noon and with this big concert up at Montage Mountain. I don't think they're going to affect me. I try to get out of here to get home to Chauncey or to get up the lake to Lake Scranton, one or the other, depending on the day. And we'll see. We'll see where it comes down. I don't. I said this though, and I meant it when I reacted a couple hours ago or an hour ago. Is I said, you know what? If they're doing line painting or something during the middle of the day, then I get aggravated with the traffic. If it's an accident, I don't get aggravated with the traffic. It's okay. Somebody could be hurt. Somebody could be going to the hospital. Somebody could be dead. When it's for something like, the VP and a concert that's going to attract 10, 15,000 people, I'm all in. I think that's great. And in this case, I'll go from great to great, which is St. Teresa, Mother Teresa for July 16th. She says, we are entirely at the disposal of the church. We profess a deep personal love for the Holy Father. This is her congregation. We surrender ourselves completely to be united with him as carriers of God's love. Pray for us that we don't spoil the work God has called us to do. She was such an amazing person. You can't even describe, when you're talking about Mother Teresa, you can't describe her greatness. I don't know. It's just really impressive. And I can't get enough of it. Can't get enough of Mother Teresa. She is amazing. And I'll repeat to you again what I've said before. A lot of us have had exposure to poverty here in this country. We've seen it or we've experienced it, not firsthand, but through others, observing them. And I'm telling you, no matter what you know, no matter what your exposure, what St. Teresa was dealing with in the ghettos of Italy or of India was even beyond our comprehension. And she did it. Quite amazing. Quite amazing. Bob LTS. My BIL, now I don't know what that is, but I'm assuming it's boyfriend. He lives in France on a visa. He wanted to get dual citizenship in France and the United States, but he needs 3 things. He has to own land in France. He has to speak French, and he has to be able to write it as well. And so these countries, who, by the way, who screwed up royally letting the Muslim hordes move into their countries. And I only use that because they're led by Islamists. And there's parts of Paris that the cops cannot go to. So they have these rules, but they didn't follow their own rules when it turned to African and Middle East migrants. They in Germany, Sweden, and they're being culturally overrun. So they, just like the United States, didn't follow their own laws. And now they've got major demographic problems. Major demographic problems. See, here's the difference with the United States, though. We are always going to be a magnet for immigrants. So why don't the Democrats want legal immigration? When Biden got in, they controlled the Senate and the House. And, of course, the presidency. Well, let's increase legal immigration. No, they wanted illegal immigration because they want to destroy the country. They don't want to make it better. They don't want to enrich this country culturally and otherwise. They want to destroy the country. This is the Democrat Party philosophy. The proof in the pudding is exactly that. Why did they not simply increase legal immigration if we wanted to take in the tired and the poor? By the way, I'm seeing on my monitor Israel striking the Syrian capital. I don't know what that's all about. But if you recall, I don't believe I think we recognize the government of Syria. There could be a lot of implications for this, but the Israelis have struck the Syrian capital of Damascus, and the smoke is still rising. We'll find out why they did it. But they're certainly putting the United States in the middle of something there. We'll see. Oh, frightening, isn't it? And things you can't control all the time. Somebody says, Joan, who we talked to, she says she was the best waitress Hojo's ever had. I told you we used to go, and Hojo's is right next to where we are, the old Hojo's. And, brother-in-law is what BIL is. All right, thank you. The brother-in-law trying to get, Razor tells me, Mamdani and their ilk. There are many places in the world to go to have the kind of government they want. Go there and leave our government alone. It's been doing fine for the last 250 years. They want control. You notice what we say at the beginning of the program. At the beginning of every program, we should be unhindered by the government or those who would use government to control others for their own comfort, benefit, or power. And that's the Democrat Party today. That's the Democrat Party today. Bob, my first wife was Japanese. You can't become a Japanese citizen. Not allowed, says Rodney. Bob, I don't know, Slick doesn't, I don't not understanding this thing. But anyway, it says Bob K checking in. Brother-in-law is BIL. Okay. You look at the situation. Again, anything they want. All right, if it was critical that we get the jab back in the COVID days under Biden, if people were losing their jobs and getting kicked out of the military, then why weren't the illegal aliens coming in, tested, and given the shot? Because they didn't care. It was all about destruction of the country and our society. If COVID was an existential threat as they tried to play it out as, then why would you let up to 20 million people into the country without testing or vaccination? Why? Again, their policies, the things they do, are never about what they say they're about. They're usually about the opposite, and they don't apply to them. They don't apply to the Democrat elite. They don't apply to the left. That's the deal. All right. We'll take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK, will return. The Association, Murph tells us this date, 1966, moved up to number 7 with their first hit single, Along Comes Mary. And it is beyond my comprehension to say that Ronald Reagan accepted the Republican nomination this date, 1980, in Detroit. The 45th anniversary of that. 45 years ago. It's a lifetime ago. And it seems like yesterday. Wow. That is remarkable. Somebody said, my biggest issue regarding COVID was the neglect and disregard for the scientific method and data gathering. And remember the source of that. It was Anthony Fauci and the health bureaucracy in Washington, D.C. that rewarded, because it goes to HHS as well, it rewarded COVID deaths. So every hospital, every facility was looking and figuring out how to say this person died of COVID. So all the underlying information was wrong. They covered up the ill effects of the so-called vaccine, of the shot. They called it something that it wasn't. They kept our kids out of school, which was completely unnecessary. They fired people from their jobs and ended people's careers. As first responders, as nurses, as soldiers, as cops. Think of what they did with this power when they seized it. And these are the same people. It isn't just the Democrats, it's the establishment. It's the people who benefit who are at the top of the pyramid, not you. Our listener continues, they vaccinated people without testing them for natural antibodies. Of course you wouldn't, because then you wouldn't sell the vaccine. Not good. And as a dry run for the autocrats, for the big government people, for the Democrat Party, it really went exceptionally well until Donald Trump won again. Now, keep in mind, Trump fell for it for the first few months. And he slowly came around and realized this Fauci and the rest of these people advising me are all full of it. So please remember these things. They're not unrelated. They're all part of it. And this is where today's Democrat Party is going, and I see very little hope of taking them off this path, which is disastrous for America. Yeah, so don't forget how many small businesses were lost due to COVID restrictions. And I could go to Walmart, but I can't go to the neighborhood grocery store. Think of it, all of this. Quite amazing and scary. But it's not surprising. This is the human nature that our founding fathers sought to protect us from. Consolidation of power, particularly in government, was the enemy. Well, growth of government, and we've now seen the $1 trillion a year we're wasting of money we do not have so they could take care of each other and their friends. The defense or the energy department, Department of Energy alone after Kamala Harris lost the election, gave away $93 billion. Please wrap your head around that. $93 billion between the election last year and Trump being sworn in. $93 billion. USAID. Insanity after insanity. Ridiculous policy after ridiculous policy. But what was worse is the money wasn't getting there. It was going to their buddies in the Beltway. As consultants, as heads of nonprofits with six-figure salaries, with law firms. Government has become a scam. Look at the Defense Department. Look at it. Look at the intelligence apparatus in this country. At least $100 billion a year. What are we getting for it that we didn't already know? The Defense Department, we can't build a ship. We're low after our participation in the supplying of Ukraine. We can't arm ourselves. Yeah. And now you got Zoran Mamdani proving what the Democrat Party truly is, the Communist Party. We'll take a break and be back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. Great good morning, everyone. My Picardo Jewelers watch tells me it is 11:08 and now 11:09. Your source for Breitling, Oris, Longines, Michelle, Shinola, Luminox, Swiss Army. In short, it's your watch store and it's your jewelry store, Picardo's. And it's a beautiful Wednesday, July 16th, 2025. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, and it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and with the help of our man John Basiliga and his great company, Serenity Care, to honor the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like veterans we lost this year, but celebrate today, like Donald Pop-Pop Popper, Springbrook, Martin Seraphin, Hanover Township, formerly of Newport Township, Michael Zielinski, South Scranton, Gerald Swarren, Exeter, Jim Jones, Scranton, Frederick Chappell, Havertown. So with history, our great founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle. Gaveling back to order for this third hour of the Lollapalooza, the Club for Common Sense. Somebody texted it, not somebody. Rich from West Pittston texted in. Bob LTS the other night on the Charlie Kirk show, which is, I guess, on TBN at 6:30 p.m. I love Charlie Kirk. He showed a video of Cubans shopping inside a government supermarket. It was truly shocking and eye-opening. Hello, New York City. They can't do the government can't do anything right because for the vast majority of its leadership, they care about their personal ambition first and foremost. That's just human nature. The founding fathers understood human nature and what people would do if they gained power beyond normal reasoning. They feared government because of human nature. People will use it for power. They will use the government for money. They will use the government to just stop people from doing things that they don't like. Yeah, government-run stores. Mondami. I'm telling you what, he's a full-fledged communist. My man Mark Mayer sent me something from an Arab commentator. And he says, don't be mistaken. Mamdani is a radical Islamist. Don't be mistaken. Now, it's a good way to start the hour. What is a good way to start the hour, you ask? To have a poem from Lorraine. Lorraine from Hazleton. How are you, my darling?
Hanging in. How are you?
I'm good. What do you got?
A poem.
Okay.
And a joke. No.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No, we're not doing that.
They're trying to stop me.
Well, let's hear the poem.
Okay. It's when I wrote before. It's one you heard before, but that's okay. Your memory's short and sweet like me. Okay.
So you somehow snuck your little pun in there. Okay. Now,
well, that's just a pun. That's not the
now
joke.
continue with it. Continue with your poem,
Yes, sir.
please.
Yes, sir. Yes,
please.
sir. Where is that little girl whom I used to know? Oh, I know she still dwells inside of me. I yearn to go back to the days gone by, but I know in my heart that it can never be. You should try not to look to the future and never linger in the past. Just be thankful for the present, and please make an effort to make the moments of today last. I know that life isn't easy, especially in the world that we live in. Some people have it smoother than others. At times, it seems as though I cannot win. If we are people of faith, we know we have to keep on praying to the Lord, because when life draws near the end, all of us better make sure that we didn't live by the sword.
I've never heard that before.
Well, I did read it before, but I told you remember it's short and sweet, but that's okay.
Well, you might have read it on a different program. I know
No,
that you,
no, no.
I know that you
It
cheat on this audience. I know
It was yours, and well, for my fans that didn't hear it.
Your fans. Now you have fans.
Well,
Is
yes,
that what
I
you're
told
saying?
you that before. You know I do.
I know, and you know that gets me ticked.
Oh, well, so do the Democrats, but... Ooh.
Your fans?
Okay. You don't be so...
Bulldog, does Lorraine have fans? So we've. Do you see how low we've descended now because of your nonsense, Lorraine? Do you see how? Huh?
Well, nonsense. That's a bunch of bull, and not bulldog either.
Well, hey, Lorraine, thank you for the poem. It's great hearing from us. Stay cool today, please.
Yeah, Fuzzy Wuzzy. And remember, I used to be addicted to the hokey pokey, but I turned myself around.
Thank you, Lorraine.
Okay, Fuzzy Wuzzy.
If that's the note you want to go out on, then I have to let you. We'll take a break. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. Oh, one of my favorites. The Beatles. This date, 1969. Murph says they worked on 2 George Harrison songs. Something, which I sing to my cat every day. And Here Comes the Sun at Abbey Road Studios in London. And before that, many of you would remember this in 1999. John F. Kennedy Jr., his wife Carolyn, their sister Lauren Bissett, they died when their single-engine plane piloted by Kennedy plunged into the Atlantic Ocean, didn't make the trip. Overestimating his abilities as a pilot, unfortunately, and you know what? And I think I met John when I was running as a Democrat for Congress. And we were at Governor Casey's house. And so we met, talked a little bit, picture, and then we sat on the dais for the Democrat dinner. Very nice guy. I didn't think he was incredibly bright, but a nice guy, and I thought he had a. In any event, we're back. Bob Cordaro on the eponymous program. So a bunch of you texting in. They love Lorraine's poems, and someone else says yes. Oh, the same person says yes. She has a fan in me. Okay, I don't have a problem. I just don't you think it's a little presumptuous for her to say she has fans? I'm told she's a diva. That's our Lorraine. That's part of the deal. Somebody said there are protesters in front on the West Pittston Borough Building in anticipation of J.D. Vance's arrival. The signs read, "Save Medicaid and you're killing elderly people." Eric in Exeter continues, no matter how you try to explain the fact, some people will always block their ears. LTS, Eric in Exeter. Eric, they are complete ignoramuses. They're either stupid or they don't care about the truth. Either way, they're dangerous people. These protesters, they're all liars. What nice thing could you have to say about someone who's trying to scare people? I've told you, I said, since the bill passed, the entire country died. I don't know what you people are doing. How are you still alive after the big mediocre bill passed? How are you still alive? You're amazing. We'll have to do some kind of testing to find out how incredibly robust the American people are to survive the big mediocre bill's murderous effects. Now, as far as I know, hundreds of millions of people have not died. As far as I know. But they're claiming they are. The professional protesters, we've got them in our area. And by the way, I got to tell you, you have to feel stupid if that's what you do for a job, professionally protesting, and they pay you. So you got to feel really stupid. But it gets worse. What if you're there protesting about a bag of lies and you're not getting paid? You got to feel even dumber. And I'm telling you, if you see one of these protesters today, help them across the street. I don't know that they're capable. I mean it. I don't know if they're capable of crossing the street themselves because they are completely detached from fact, truth, and reality, which means they may not see the bus coming down the road. They may want the light to be green, even though it's red. I mean, please be careful. Help them. Don't let them injure themselves. Maybe that's what they mean by these signs. You're killing elderly people. Now, by the way, did any of these protesters come out when Governor Wolf and Cuomo and Phil Murphy in Jersey were actually killing elderly people in nursing homes by allowing COVID-infected people back into the nursing homes? Did any of these people protest when the fact was true that elderly people were being killed? You can't say there's really are no redeeming qualities in these people. There are none. Why? Again, it's this the motivation. Now, they've interviewed most of these protesters, and most of them don't have any idea what they're protesting about. Those are the people who get paid. They just switch signs. And the Soroses of the world and whatever other left-wing lunatics will just fund them. And they go out and they protest. Whether $20 an hour, whatever they get. And so the signs are paid for and they just show up. But if you're protesting because you actually believe in this stupidity, that's a frightening thing. That if you believe, I can't. I'm not even reading Chris Kelly's column in the Scranton Times today. It is that insane. He's gone. I'm telling you, he would not get out of Clark Summit State Hospital. Here he is writing for a newspaper, which used to be a fairly prestigious thing, until he's degraded it over and over and over again into just a potpourri of falsehoods, lies, conspiracies, and his personal hatreds. Yeah, that's there too. But he's actually got a column. Like, I've told you about how terrible these newspapers are. They've become even worse under the new ownership. 2 examples. Yesterday. The food forces people to evacuate. That's the front page. Unreal. These are scary people. Now, these are the same people who are ignoring the fact that Joe Biden he never had the mental capacity to be a good president, but he didn't even have the mental capacity to be in any position of prominence. He didn't have the mental capacity to run a 7-Eleven. And they deny it or ignore it, or it's like it bounces off of them. And you say to them, well, what about all the people who lied to you about his cognitive abilities? And they say, they don't respond. They say, yeah, well, Trump. Whatever you could think of Trump, fine. You cannot argue with his results, number one. You cannot argue with the basis of his policies. They make sense. They work. Wow, what an odd thing. Chuck from Carbondale, how much are they paying him to print lies? I'm telling you, his columns are so freaked out. Where he lost me forever, though, was when he, in a column, and I had this, I had to throw it away because it was so disgusting, I didn't even want to keep the column, where he started to do the sick, twisted, insane comparisons to the Holocaust. And it is so maddening and so despicable that I said this person can't be redeemed. They've lost their mind. They need to go somewhere for a lot of help. And yet the paper's so bad, he's still writing 2 columns a week for them. Quite astonishing. All right. It is time. We want to hear from our great sponsors. My Bacardo Jewelers watch tells me it's 11:30 and 20 seconds. We'll be back. Our veterans this hour and every hour, this day and every day, brought to you by our man John Basiliga, and we'll just mention one of his fine companies today. That's Serenity Care. Serenity Care with 4 facilities. They serve us in the Mid-Valley, Old Forge, Wyoming, Kingston. All four locations have been completely renovated inside and out, accepting new residents. So for yourself, a family member, it's Serenity Care. Your first look. Evan Jim Jones, Pennsylvania State Police retired. He was 81. He was from Scranton, Lackawanna County. His wife, Nancy, she passed away in 2008. They were high school sweethearts, were married for 44 and a half years. He was born in Scranton. He enjoyed his career in law enforcement, serving 4 years in the Identification Division of the FBI, and then 25 years with our own Pennsylvania State Police, 1965 to 1991. He retired as a sergeant. Well, he wasn't done yet. Upon retirement, he worked as a detective with the Lackawanna County District Attorney's Office. He was an instructor in the Act 120 Municipal Police Officers Training. He was a firearms instructor for the Pennsylvania State Police, a member of the Hancock Lodge of the Fraternal Order of Police. He loved his Blue Lodge and was past master of the Union Lodge, free and accepted Masons in Scranton. He served as principal of the 13th Masonic District Ritualistic School of Instruction. He loved America, was thankful for his blessings. He's survived by his 2 sons, his grandchildren, and other family members. Jim Jones. Frederick Chappelle, Navy veteran. He loved growing plants. He was 97 when he passed away, June 5th. He was born in Philadelphia, grew up in that city with a large family, 4 brothers, 2 sisters. He attended John Bartram High School in Philly, then served us in the U.S. Navy, 1946, entering Seaman First Class. After his service, he returned to Philadelphia to work for Acme Markets. He was working there since he was 11. In total, he worked for more than 50 years for Acme. Meat cutter, meat manager, district meat supervisor. He was married twice. First, to his wife, Joyce, the former Joyce McHenry, the mother of his 3 children. She passed away in 1969. He then married Lorraine Dietz, who passed away in 2022. He lived the majority of his life and raised his family in Havertown. Longtime member of the Havertown United Methodist Church. He's survived by his 3 children, 6 grandchildren, 4 great-grandchildren, and other family members. Sadly preceded in death by all 6 of his siblings. 97-year-old Frederick Chappelle. Our great veterans, brought to you by John Basiliga and Serenity Care. Storm Tracker 16 forecast from meteorologist Joe Snedeker. Today, partly sunny with a chance of late-day showers and thunderstorms, 88. Tonight, partly cloudy, chance of showers and thunderstorms, 72. Thursday, partly sunny and humid, chance of scattered thunderstorms, 88. Friday, sunny, cooler, less humid, high near 80. So 70s to 80 on Friday. And I think I heard Joe tell this morning that we're going to be in the 70s and 80s in the weekend, which is great. Perfect golfing weather, isn't it? Where today is pool weather. My friend Karen texted in, don't forget pronouns that the left has given us. Homophobic, misogynist, transphobic. Gender is but a social contract. Oh, don't forget about Islamophobia. Yeah. Oh, no. We should be afraid of Islamists. Yes. Not Muslims, Islamists like Mamdani, I should say. So, James Comer, House Oversight Committee, they've had a couple of the Biden people in. One of the main guys, a guy named Bernal, he was chief of staff to First Lady, which meant that he was chief of staff for the country because she was the president for all intents and purposes. Dr. Jill Biden. So Bernal refused to answer questions. The doctor, his Dr. O'Connor, took the 5th. Now, hiding behind HIPAA. Well, you can't hide behind HIPAA when they say, did anyone tell you to cover up Joe Biden's health? Yeah. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Chuck from Carbondale texted in again. He says, I want to thank you for the great job you brought to us from Camp Freedom last week. It was great to know what they're doing for our heroes. Chuck, it's an amazing place. You're from Carbondale. It's right there for you, too. It's quite amazing. Yeah, Camp Freedom it's special. It's beyond special. So anyway, nobody is answering any questions about Joe Biden's mental capacity. They're dodging. They know what they did. We know what they did. And I mean, that alone, if I am this, I don't get it. That alone, Joe Biden's mental incapacity and them lying about it constantly, continually, was that not enough for you to dismiss anything they say? I don't understand you then. I truly don't. Somebody had texted in earlier, and I forgot about it, that when I said, well, what does Trump lie about? They're saying he lied about releasing the Epstein files. Now, the Epstein files were released. Now, there's no doubt. I'm going to say this. I trust, for now, Pam Bondi. I trust Kash Patel, the head of the FBI. I trust Dan Bongino. And what it appears to me, and this is a different take than I've heard, but what it appears to me regarding the Epstein, they thought they had a blockbuster. And it just wasn't, they just didn't have it. They didn't have the goods. They didn't have the goods to expose people other than the flight list, which we already had. I believe, in fact, what they said. Now, I also believe that, that there was no blackmail list. Well, who's going to be stupid enough to keep one in the first place? And I know all the conversation. She implied that she had a list, all of that. I understand. She said she had a file on her desk. I can understand the confusion in response to the question. She did not say, I have the list on my desk. She said, I have the file on my desk, or that's a reasonable interpretation, which she's telling us is what she believed. I think the information in the file was underwhelming. I still think they should release it with redactions. And I think they're wrong not to release it. But I think they thought it was going to be a blockbuster, and it wasn't. Same thing with the JFK assassination. Kash Patel said, you're going to be underwhelmed. Well, the stuff got out. It was more heavily redacted than we thought. Did Trump lie about releasing it? No, he released a lot less than we had the impression they were going to release. You got to remember, too, Trump was the president. He should have known what was in the Epstein files. So I don't know what the truth is. I will give them the benefit of the doubt, though. I truly will. And there's no reason not to. It's a question or a situation or circumstance of over-promising and under-delivering. And yes, it's egg on their face. But I don't think they're covering anything up. Remember, if Trump was part of this file, if Trump supporters were part of this file, the Epstein file, Biden, Merrick Garland, you're telling me he wouldn't have released it? Are you telling me Comey wouldn't have released it? So, I mean, they're not covering up for Trump. That's highly, highly unlikely. They're not covering up for Trump supporters. Highly, highly unlikely. Which leads me to believe they're not covering up. They just overpromised and under-delivered. Don't politicians do that all the time? That's not a lie. That's a mistake. A dumb one, but a mistake nevertheless. They should have thoroughly scoured the files before they commented on the big release. But they didn't. They exaggerated. They overpromised. They underdelivered. That's how I'll accept it as for now. It isn't that important in the scheme of things. It really isn't. All right. Bob Cordaro, WILK. Time to take a break. We'll be back. Thanks, Frank. Thanks, Gerard. For those of you who are new to our program, I was brought into WILK to replace Rush Limbaugh when he passed. Tragedy. Still reverberating. We could use Rush Limbaugh today. And so I was on at 2:45. I said, how about this Frank Sinatra saloon song? And we started playing it. So when I moved to 9 to noon, I was begging them to let me go to 9 to noon. I said, you know what? We got to still do it. We found out that it is 2:45 in the morning in Port Moresby, Papua New Guinea. And so we let Sinatra continue singing, and my man Gerard Mayer filled it in with a 2:45 to noon deal. Okay? That's our deal. All right, let's go to the blower. We got Greg Griffin from Sawyersville. Greg, how are you, man?
Good, buddy. Just an update on this Vice President Vance visit. The leftist Democrats are here. They're just they're cursing. They're giving us the finger. Yeah, just because they saw a Vance sign that we're holding, and that's our First Amendment. I thought they were for free speech.
They're not. they're against everything they claim they're for.
Yeah, I guarantee you they're going to plan on spitting on Vance's car. These people are sick. They had a young girl giving us the finger, and like the mother showed them how to do it. Like, and these people vote. They have Action Together, NEPA. They have an office now on Northampton Street, and they're trying to turn the county blue. So the county election is very important, and we got to get our people motivated.
I know it.
These people are Mandani people. These are AOC people.
They're gone. They are mentally ill. There's no,
right.
You cannot place someone who's carrying a sign saying millions of senior citizens are dying, and you can't try to put that into the real world and say that they're normal. They're carrying that sign around.
Yes. You can't convince them. I tell every Republican, don't even try and debate these people. You're wasting your time. Just go recruit people and register people to vote. But do not waste time trying to talk to these leftist Democrats. They're irretrievable. They hate our guts.
Well, you got to – I say this, and what do I say, Greg? I said when you get into this with a person, you can only ask a couple of questions. Now, while Biden was president, this was an easy one. You asked them if anything went wrong with our exit from Afghanistan.
Right.
Then you asked them, is the border open? And is it having any negative effects on the country? And you'll tell by the answer that they're complete ignoramuses and they don't want to know the truth. And then you talk about cherry pie.
Yeah. Don't even waste your time with them. But listen, our people got to be woken up because our people think it was one election and done. Listen, they're going to retake the White House, the Senate, and Congress. These people are organizing. Mandani is an example.
Yeah.
He could probably take New York City because he's telling the people you're getting screwed by the Republicans, and I'm going to give you everything. And this is the Democrat leftist socialist.
People don't understand the irony. He's complaining about Trump when all of the policies have been decades of Democrat policies in New York City. Do they have any blame?
Yeah.
And all their Congress people are Democrats. Both senators are Democrats. The governor's a Democrat. The mayor's a Democrat. But it's the Republicans that are at fault.
Right. Every Republican listening must get everyone out for November 1st of all. Of course, the midterms. But we cannot stop voting.
All the local elections, we cannot. That's why we play. The battle is over, but the war goes on. Greg, thank you, my man. I appreciate you being there.
Take care.
All right, let's go to Jim from Harding. Jim, how are you?
Pretty good. I don't know if you heard the news that USC ain't going to be fielding a football team in 2025.
USC?
Yeah. It turns out Tom Homan hit their locker room and took half their players. I love that one.
You're making me cough with that. Dear Lord. That was
And
actually
another-
not even funny, though. Sorry, Jim.
But I tell you what, everybody,
Your
the one thing I
timing,
don't do.
but Jim, your timing was impeccable. The joke was
But I tell you
awful.
what, I don't call these Democrats anymore. I call them the Halloween party because they're a bunch of socialists dressed up as Democrats.
This is not the Democrat Party that any normal person recognizes. They're getting worse. It's incredible.
Yeah, everybody I talk to, they don't listen to news, don't follow politics. I just talked to the girl at Turkey Hill. She doesn't know anything about those 12 million coming in. They don't care. They're going to care when it's too late.
Well, that's our job. We've got a job to do, right, Jim?
Yeah, yep.
All right, man. We'll keep doing it. Thank you.
You'd be good.
All right. It's true. I mean, they don't care what the facts are. They don't care what and I don't know what would drive you to that. Somebody said, I wish you were on 12 to 3. I hate having to always bounce back with Brian Kilmeade. Come on, you could see Kilmeade. That's why our ratings are way, way better than his. Because you could see Brian Kilmeade 50 times a day. And I love him, by the way. I really like him. And so you already know what he says. We'll give you fresh here, which is why we do so well. Well, Bloomberg Money Minute coming up, and then we'll come back to wrap it up. It is the Bob Cordaro Show, 10:50 or 11:55 on my Picardo Jewelers watch. Well, you know we're going to finish with this. This date, 1981, Harry Chapin tragically died in a car crash on his way to a benefit concert. He was on the Long Island Expressway. He was only 38. So we play a live version of his amazing song. It should be the Scranton Party song. It certainly is mine, 30,000 pounds of bananas. So, Babylon Bee out again. Newsom founds Underground Railroad to help Mexican kids travel to work the marijuana farms. And another, Biden's teleprompter assures the nation that it approved all auto pen decisions. Another, Mattel announces Ice Agent Ken doll. I would love to see that. And I don't understand this one, but I'll read it. Staff politely informed J.D. Vance the park is closing and he'll have to get off Ariel's undersea adventure now. Metadata shows Epstein footage was edited in Mario Paint. Somebody texted in about that. And by the way, I cannot and do not say you're wrong. I just don't. I can't. But they say that there are a lot of prominent people and politicians and elites from Hollywood on the list, and they don't want to expose them because they're all corrupt criminals. That's what Trump and Bondi are opening themselves up to. You are not making an unreasonable assumption. I'm just telling you, if there were Trumpers or Trump himself in the file, Biden would have released it. Merrick Garland would have released it. James Comey would have released it. Okay? Guaranteed. So they probably aren't any prominent Trumpers or Trump himself. That's my argument against it. Why would they not release it? I don't know. Doesn't look good. Oh, well. Well, it is. I look up at my watch, the Picardo Jewelers watch. It tells me it's 12:01 and 40 seconds. So that means we got to go. The Sue Henry Show is next. The Rob O'Donnell Show after that. They'll be reporting and getting a lot of information on the J.D. Vance visit. For me, I must say, God willing, I'll be with you tomorrow morning. But for now, we must gavel to a close this meeting of the Club for Common Sense. Adios. Have a great afternoon.